We're three best friends, and we love Lost. And we love talking, but even more so, we love talking about Lost. So join us for some laughs, good conversation, and let's get lost together. Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Get Lost with your Oceanic 3. We have Kipper on my left-hand side, Hesse on my right-hand side.
Hello.
And there's me.
What are we chatting about today?
Today we are chatting about episode 22. And Amanda, why don't you tell us what that's all about?
I absolutely would love to. Episode 22, we're getting real close to the end, guys. Real close. And it is heating the fuck up.
Oh, is it?
Born to Run. Story by Javier Grillo Marquez. Teleplay by Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz. And this episode was directed by Tucker Gates. With construction of the raft nearing completion, Kate has a special request for Michael. She wants to be on it when it sails. During a water break, Michael keels over in pain. Jack examines him and discovers that he has been poisoned. Jack and Locke's investigation of the crime leads to a crashing revelation about Kate's past.
It's interesting how they say Jack and Locke's investigation. Like, I know he had that conversation with Locke, but it was mostly Jack's.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, there was barely any. I mean, I think Locke was talking to Hurley for a hot minute about it. And then that's
exactly.
Kind of it. Let's not give Locke more credit than he needs to have.
Let's not. Okay, pretty good synop. So I'm going to read you some trivia.
Oh,
no, facts first. Don't look at the back because that's where the trivia is.
Okay.
It's so cute. You think I can read that far?
Okay.
I'm not wearing my glasses.
Factoids, 17.10 million viewers.
Okay.
Day 43 on the island. Guess the IMDb rating.
I think this one is rated quite high.
Okay.
So I'm thinking 8.9.
Okay.
I don't think so. It was kind of boring. So I'm going to say like 7.8.
Well, it's 8 out of 10. 8 even.
Really?
So I was closer.
I'm just surprised that you consider it boring. I thought this was my heart was racing
for me. It
most
dragged on for so long.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't find it boring, but it did feel like a long episode. Mm-hmm. So I agree with both of you.
Yeah.
8 out of 10. I'm not that surprised because Kate episodes tend to rank lower. But I think
it'd actually be a fun little thing to kind of figure out is like go through all the episodes, take the ratings, average them, and see whose flashback episodes tend to.
I mean,
I feel a project coming on.
I feel a project coming on.
Same.
As well.
Which one? Who's gonna do it though?
Oh, it's obviously going to be me.
I was going to say probably. Yeah. Amanda's, she's like,
how do you average things?
I'm not going to do it.
That's about it, Matt.
But I find like Kate's kind of a drag. So then her episodes are kind of a drag. So, you know.
So this was a hot episode for Sawyer on the nickname front.
Oh.
Any guesses how many we had?
4.
Incorrect.
6.
Incorrect. 7.
Really?
Let me go through them.
Okay.
Boss. Sweet cheeks. Freckles.
Yeah.
Chief. Sulu. Mickey. And Puddin'.
Puddin'?
What's the Mickey one? That was Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just short for Michael?
I guess. But it was Mickey and not Mikey.
No, Mickey is short for Michael. I grew up with twins and one of their names were Michael and Edward, I think. And their names, when they were kids, we called them Mickey and Teddy.
Teddy?
For Edward.
Mickey?
And then Mickey for Michael. I think now they probably go by Michael and Edward or some
Mickey, Teddy, if you're out there.
Yeah, Mickey, Teddy, if you're listening to this. Do you still go by those names or do you hate me now?
Also, she's not sure if your name is Edward and Teddy.
No, I am. I'm absolutely positive.
It might be Theodore.
No.
See what I mean? She's not sure.
It's not. Because I guessed knows. Theodore and it was
your
Edward.
Name is Teddy.
We have to stop talking about my childhood classmates immediately. Thank you.
All right. Here's some trivia. 2 questions today.
Okay.
What significance does the date of the voice recording between Kate and Tom have?
What was the date?
Well, if you don't remember. Do you remember, Teresa?
I remember the year.
What was the year?
1989.
Okay. August 15th, 1989.
So 8/15.
Mm-hmm. Flight 815, 4, 8, 15, 16, etc. Numbers, people.
Numbers, people. It always comes. Numbers matter here.
Numbers matter. Always. And here's a easy one. At least I think it's easy. Remember your sounds. What band is on the cover of the lunchbox that they dig up as the time capsule.
I was trying to see it, but it was very rusted.
I don't know.
Wow.
Oh my God, we were stumped on the Kate episode. Ooh.
NKOTB, New Kids on the Block.
Oh, it would be. That's so cute. All right. Okay.
I wasn't born.
You were born in
You were
1989.
born.
No.
But you were born.
What's your birthday?
I realized after I said it.
88.
I was in fact,
oh.
but I
yeah.
was an infant.
Well, so was Amanda.
Yeah.
I was
She was a toddler.
I was only 3 years old, and I know who NKOTB is.
Yeah, but I didn't grow up in a house where that was something we listened to.
Well, that's a
Me
shame.
neither.
Yeah. I don't think Kim's parents were blasting New Kids on the Block. Actually, before we get into the episode, I do have questions around that because I was surprised at how far, like, I really don't know how old they were supposed to be in that scene.
Like Kate and Tom in the car, or
When they were
kids.
when they were kids. And I guess I think the difference is as I'm like talking it out, I'm realizing that I'm taking it from like the context of this being 2004, that this happened,
Yes,
but it
no.
probably wasn't. It was probably, but either way, how old would she have been in 1989? She doesn't seem like, how old's Kate supposed to be?
That's a good question. Because like in the first flashback, she's driving a Pontiac Sunfire, like
Yeah.
those like 90s versions.
Yeah.
Or early 2000s.
Yeah.
I'd say mid to late 90s.
Yeah. And so were they like kid? Because I feel like I didn't expect that time capsule to have been from 1989.
Well, like, okay, so if she was, because when they were recording that tape, I assumed they were like 11, 12,
Okay.
Same.
maybe 13, because his voice was a little
Lower.
puberty-ish.
Yeah.
And
So she's like in her late 20s.
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
I mean, I guess Tom is
He's a-
full-on doctor.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But I don't know. I guess I always assume they're trying to make people younger and younger on these shows. So I was not expecting her.
Well, I just assumed she was born probably like around 1978, 19.
Yeah, like late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know. Maybe someone knows. Maybe it's out there somewhere.
You know what? I think it is.
Their ages?
I think Kate's age is somewhere.
Like the character's
Yeah.
date of birth, DOB.
Yeah.
Is it in a certain group?
I think it might be. That's why. I think I remember seeing it.
What? I bet you it's on Lostpedia.
It's not that important. It just,
Well,
for someone who's, the
We're on
reason
it.
I question it so much, particularly when it comes to Kate, is that so much has happened in her life.
yeah.
And we're going to get into it a bit, obviously. Those who think I am just going to spend the next 40 minutes shitting on her the whole time, don't click away yet, because I actually have some surprising hot takes on this one, I think.
Interesting.
But I just I think people watching this episode for the first time are probably like, okay, this is why the marshal was after her.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I know her birthday,
Okay.
1977.
Okay. So she would be, oh God, you guys, my math. So 27 in 2004.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
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 Right.
Yeah. So then they were like 12, like you thought when they,
Okay.
okay, that all tracks. So we did not do that well on the trivia
No.
today.
No.
That's
failed.
okay. That's okay. We're coming off a heavy episode last week, and we're coming on to some pretty heavy
Well,
episodes.
last week's episode wasn't that heavy.
Well, Shannon going a little crazy.
That's true. I guess she was kind of nuts. It was.
I don't think heavy's the right
No.
word.
It was our hangover episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this. Okay. So should we do? Trace the stream of consciousness.
All right.
Oh,
Oh, also,
let's get it on.
let's get it on. I assume that's why you said that. All right, episode 22. Oh, okay. A Kate episode. Fantastic. Oh, the blonde hair means she's being her usual sketchy self. Kate is just so used to being sketchy, hey? Oh my God, that poor tub has really bad drainage. She thinks she's so hot. Why are you crying, Jane? I mean, Joan? Sorry, your name's Joan this time. It's been a while since we've seen Charlie with his guitar. No, Charlie, that's not a goddamn boat. It's still a raft. So now everyone's decided to help with the raft, okay? Well, clearly this art dude or whoever is being set up to do something or other because I don't know who he is and I've never seen his face. Kate, since I'll win, what's a J-boat? Also, Kate, why do you want to piss off the person who can say if you can get on the boat or not? Hey, Kate, why you collar pop so high? I bet Kate's in that car. Oh, called it. There she is. Sketch Baggeroni. Oh, this guy knows her real name, though. Oh, geez. Open mind about what? Okay, are Locke and Saeed friends now? When did this happen? Oh, the hatch. This thing. Locke, why are you smiling? Sawyer, maybe help him with what he's carrying. Hey, Michael, do you know how to sail a boat? Was this really never discussed until right now? Of course, Sawyer knows that Kate's a sketch bag. And she's sketch bagging now, even burning someone's passport. Is that Joanna's? Michael is not at all convincing. Oh, is he okay? Oh my God. Run, Walt, run. Kate, sorry, man. Jack is off hatching with the others. You're going to have to yell a lot louder than that. Jack, he doesn't have to tell you something. Oh, Locke, exactly. Oof, Michael, are you okay, man? This looks painful. Also, maybe just listen to the doctor and lie down. He put that nice little washcloth over your neck, so just lie down. Okay, so is it just me or Kate and Saeed are jacked? So that's upsetting. Who's Diane? All right, clearly some familiarity here with this guy with the whole calling her Katie. Also, of all the creepy places to be digging something up, someone's poisoned Michael. LOL. Okay, thank you, Hurley. It's too many secrets on secrets on secrets. Can't keep track of who knows who knows what. Aw, how cute are Claire and Charlie, though? Monster Eats the Pilot. What a great song. Okay, so of course Jack is mad at Kate now. Dun, dun, dun. And of course Jack is going to come out guns swinging. Okay, well, you know what? No one does, because she's sketchy. Case in point, digging in the middle of misty nowhere. I think this is clearly some kind of time capsule. Oh, Tom, you're going to die and she's going to kill you somehow. Kate, I think this guy is married with a kid. Maybe stop giving him the goo-goo eyes. Ah, crap, they are kind of cute, though. Oh, so it turns out she always wants to run for some reason. Clearly, it's a bad one. Don't kiss. Don't kiss. Do not kiss. Don't kiss. And they're kissing. Did you guys fill that hole back up before you left? Oh, God. Locke, what paste are you mixing now? Oh, it's some leg paste. Okay. Okay, did anyone else notice that Walt's skin is flawless? What the heck? Don't open that. You know what, baby? Just don't open it. You know what? Walt was getting creepy again. Is it just me or is this episode going on forever and a day? Okay, well, this escalated quickly and there's a lot of accusations left and right. Who is this lady? Oh, it's her mom? Diane is her mom? She looks really rough. Oh my God, she's screaming help. Wait, why? What happened? Kate, why did we do this? Tom, why are you going with her? She's driving like a crazy person. Kate, why did we do this? Oh, she still ran, hey? Oh, I see Michael's feeling better. Wow, we all really turned on each other on a dime here, hey? And we all do the dramatic walking away from the one we don't like anymore. Also, Sawyer's been helping this whole time for the most part, kind of. And not you, Kate. Just FYI. You can't really just take someone's spot like that. It's kind of rude. Oh, it was Sun? Oh, no. But I mean, Michael's already fine, clearly. Also, did we know that Kate's skin is also flawless? Ooh, that intense stare off. Sawyer knows that it's a cack world and not a sack one. Or no, wait. Coyer or Sate? Wait, let me try that again. Sawyer knows it's a cack world and not a Sate one. Wait, good for you to admit it. I mean, Walt, good for you to admit it. But also, what is this kid right now? Of course, Sun is still like, we're still friends. Oh, so it was Kate's idea. What is wrong with you? Oh, well, he's dead. The end.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Wow, a couple things. LOLing at Michael getting poisoned.
Is that when I LOL?
You LOL.
Yeah. It's okay. We were expecting it.
That's rude.
Surprising. Jade, I believe.
And a J-boat is a type of yacht.
Cool.
What kind of yacht?
I don't know. I just know that from something really nerdy.
Care to explain?
I'll go on.
It's from Dawson's Creek.
I knew it. I wouldn't say that's nerdy.
But But also we
Not
prefer
nerdy.
Jate over cack.
We've talked about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Sorry. Jate. Well, yeah, Jate. Oh, that would have made more sense too. It's a Jate world, not a Sate world, instead of a cack and a Sate.
Cack in a sack, you said.
Cat in a sack. Now I just want her to never be with any of them. Like,
No, but Sack is Jack and Sawyer.
it doesn't matter. Like, at this point.
They should all be alone.
We're all
All right.
together.
Yeah, or
You know,
in fact,
I'm not gonna lie. Don't hate that idea.
I recently read a interesting take on Lost written by artificial intelligence where
Oh my god, I love those. Can you read it?
Sawyer, Kate, and Jack all end up living in a throuple on the island.
Oh, no.
That's my fucking
Together.
dream.
Was it when I said, someone poisoned him? LOL. Okay, thank you, Hurley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're trying to tell us that was a second thought?
Yes, it was.
Well,
All right.
Yes, it was.
Conveniently timed second
yes.
thought.
Okay.
It. I wouldn't say, oh, haha. Like, no.
Okay.
LOL
So
is supposed to be LOL. Okay, thank you, Hurley. It's too many secrets on secrets
yeah,
on secrets.
I like that Hurley scene.
Because it's true.
So we have unfortunately, Dan's hot take is away for the next couple of episodes. So he will be rejoining us on the finale to give a final recap of what he thought of the season. And if he, in fact, wants to continue doing this or
if he's done
or if
with
Lost just didn't take for him. So we'll find out. So let's get into the episode.
Let's do it. So we start off again with a flashback, which is not as common as starting on the island, but
Wait.
getting more common.
Have we ever had an episode start with
I was going to say, are we going to have this conversation again? Yes.
No, I'm not the one.
No,
who
I
said it.
always
It was
say that.
Karen.
Was
She's like,
it?
we've never
Yeah.
had that happen. I'm like, it literally has. But I think it's only the third time.
I thought it was
Yeah.
the other way around.
No.
I don't remember anymore.
driving up in that green Pontiac Sunfire?
Yeah. With very blonde hair.
Very blonde.
terrible blonde hair.
Also, like, she's just changing the license plate, like, in view of everyone. Like,
100%.
is she not afraid? Like, that looks so suspicious.
Especially when you lift that back.
You
And
have
she's like,
500
which one should I
license
pick
plates.
today?
Yeah, generally speaking, in like a parking lot filled with other people, you should probably not be changing the license plate on
kidding.
your vehicle and then sneaking around. That was a really cool scene, though.
It was.
To
'Cause
see
you didn't
how
really
she
know what's going
sketch
on.
bags.
Well,
No,
just
it
because
just-
you
it
didn't know
was-
what was happening
yeah.
with like the family and the way that the
The nurse.
cleaner
no, not
was.
The nurse, the,
You know what's weird?
what?
I was also thinking nurse.
What? It must
I'm
have
not
been that
kidding.
outfit.
Why would you think she was a nurse?
I don't
No,
know.
it
I
just-
literally was going to be
instead
like
of
nurse.
Rolling yellow.
What?
Her
She
outfit
wore
was
yellow?
yellow.
The cleaning lady?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think so either.
Anyway, the point is that I think it's funny that we both were about to go
Nurse.
nurse for the hotel staff. But that was just a really cool little scene.
It was filmed really neat, and it was a neat way to, like, introduce Kate's sort of, like, fugitive life.
Yeah, because we don't really. Because at the end of the day, we don't really know anything about. We know she's a fugitive. We know it's serious if a U.S. Marshal is willing to come to Australia to get her,
Yep.
and that there's a reward, et cetera, et cetera. But we don't really know what happened, and
No.
and we don't know how long.
Exactly.
Right? Has she been on the run for like 6 years or 6 months? Is it that bank robbery that's the reason she's on the run? Is it something else?
Oh, shit, she was wearing yellow.
Oh, yeah. Well, nurses can wear yellow.
Yeah.
You mean this outfit that she's wearing? You think that that's a nurse's outfit?
Okay, we don't know why we thought what we thought. We're just trying.
I'm just saying that she was wearing yellow, and y'all did not believe me again. And I'm just the joke of the pod.
I mean,
Oh my God.
you're not the joke. You know, you're the humor.
You are very funny.
Yeah, you bring so many witty segments to us. So Kate, I did not like the blonde.
Oh, I also heard we need to start doing an also count because we say you've gotten us saying also a lot, Teresa.
You have, yeah.
It's not
And it's
my
okay.
fault.
No, it's fine. I like it because
drink
also her dye job was very well done for an over-the-counter hair dye that she just applied in a hotel bathroom.
With poor drainage.
It looked very natural.
Yeah, no, very natural. I actually thought it was going to be a wig, the blonde. I think that it would have made more sense if it was she just took off a wig, I think, because that blonde looked terrible.
I don't think I mean, she was driving in a convertible though. Like, what if it whipped off?
Well, it clearly was a wig, though, is what I'm saying. So they might as well have just made it a wig in the...
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was clearly a wig because we know it was such a bad job. But really, for the people in that world, it was her hair.
Yeah. Driving that Pontiac Sunfire.
We sure disagree on interesting topics.
I agree.
It should have been a wig. Well, it couldn't have been a wig. Please don't glare at me.
I'm not glaring at you.
The Pontiac's on fire. Yeah, I noticed that instantly.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. So
Because
yeah.
they're so like prolific and they're exactly the same as a Chevy Cavalier. They
Yes.
like Pontiac Sunfires and Chevy Cavaliers, the exact same car with just different branding.
And literally everyone had them in the early 2000s.
Everybody.
Like when I was in high school,
Yeah, every like
that's the car,
other car.
everyone
Yeah.
wanted to buy was either one of those two things.
And my first car was a 1990 Chevy Cavalier, light blue, 4-door, nicknamed Claire.
Oh.
Yeah. My very first car.
My first car was my mom's old car. And I can't remember what it was called, but it's something that doesn't get made anymore.
My first,
Was it a car?
Mm-hmm.
It was a brown.
It was like a purple, like a maroon. It was actually called Black Cherry, the color.
My first car was a 2003 Jeep Liberty Limited.
Named Wanda.
What year did you
Wanda.
get that Jeep Liberty?
I got it in 2008.
So slightly used.
Yeah.
Was yours new?
No. I got it it was in 1990 and I didn't get it till like 2001.
That makes sense. We're going to forget that I ever asked.
Yeah. In 1990, I was 5.
You guys, I've had a difficult week, all right? I told you math wasn't my strong suit. Forgive me.
Just imagine.
For my 5th birthday.
You know, I grew up in the country. I don't know what you guys do out there, okay? I know it's a lot more liberal.
He just
okay?
bought himself a bus.
You think growing up in the country is more liberal?
I meant with safety regulations, not mentalities.
Fair.
Anyway, so very funny flashback, but I do like that we get a glimpse into kind of how she's surviving.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, and the other thing too is like putting it into the context of like, this is like the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
It would be harder, I think, nowadays for her to be getting away with what she's doing.
Yeah.
But back then it was.
Yeah, exactly. There wasn't as much surveillance and sharing and
Yeah, so we get that kind of
shit.
glimpse, and then we get back, we see her kind of in thought on the island with the little plane.
Here's my question.
all right.
How many people leave their hotel room or motel room doors open when they leave?
Some people probably do.
Really?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think so because they all close automatically,
so like,
don't they? Although that looked like a pretty low key
yeah,
old motel.
because she crept in through the one behind the person who was cleaning. And so like a lot of things kind of had to work out for like that to even happen. Mm-hmm. The doors staying open, the person passing by already, for her to like shimmy her way in there. But then I was like, I always close my door.
I thought she grabbed a key off the cart.
No.
No, she
She
grabbed
just went into the open one that family left. She grabbed towels and shampoo.
Oh, it was shampoo. I thought those were keys.
I think that scene is just supposed to illustrate that like she'll just do whatever, and if that
Yeah.
hadn't been what was done, she would have found a different way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. And the like casualness with which she carries herself through this life.
It was very casual.
Totally. Yeah.
Like just didn't
Nobody
even
would
bat an
question
eye.
anything.
No.
Right. So.
So
all right,
then
Puddin'.
we see her on the little plane, or on the island, clearly lost in thought about the little plane.
Yeah.
And Charlie comes up and gives her I like that. Charlie's really cute in this
He's a
episode.
good. It's a good Charlie episode. Because does he immediately start talking about his
platinum.
comeback?
Yeah, he says
right.
platinum.
Yeah.
And how he thinks that because they've been as presumed dead,
Yeah.
he's probably right.
Totally.
He's probably right.
Yeah.
And he probably would have a good kind of comeback. But that scene, although adorbs, is not meant just for that. It's supposed to remind Kate and us that she's going to have to face a lot because everyone knows that they're gone, and if they go back, there's going to be a lot of attention on them.
And I kind of like, it makes you wonder, is this the kind of first where it's hitting home for Kate? Because like they're going on about the raft launching immediately, and maybe it's it's always probably been in the back of her mind what happens if and when we're rescued. But now it's hitting home, and she's almost like start to panic a little bit. Like, what you gonna do
when they come for you?
Agreed.
Bad guy.
And like, yeah, I don't know. It's funny because I feel like in the beginning she was really worried about that, and it was very obvious. And then I don't know if she's just kind of become, because it's actually crazy that it's been 43 days.
I know.
Like that feels both like not any time, but also a lot of time.
Totally. I think it's like weird to think about that it's been that long.
And so I think she's become a little complacent.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we go to my favorite scene in the whole episode, which is that Art's trying to explain the science to them.
Do you think he's really a doctor?
He might have like a PhD.
I think he has a PhD.
In the like US, they see.
What was
Yeah, imagine just threw daggers at Teresa
No,
with
I
her
was just
eyes.
wondering, like,
What were
why
you
you think that for sure.
why I think he has a PhD? Because he says he's a doctor.
Okay.
And he's a science teacher in high school. And I had a science teacher in high school who said that we should call her doctor because she had a
Really?
PhD.
Oh,
See, that's what I
presumptuous.
was wondering is like, not to be rude, but like, do you
I didn't
not
think-
need it? Like, I feel like a PhD is little
overkill for a science teacher.
in high school.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
shouldn't those be
that's-
like professors?
I had a science teacher in high school who had a PhD, and we all had to call her doctor.
Ooh, that would have been annoying.
No
Doctor. Yeah. So I didn't. Arts, like, we get introduced to this guy who is very clearly a teacher, the way he's talking. Can anybody tell me what's south of where we are? Like,
Jack being ever the
A student.
studious A pluser.
Teacher, me.
He's like,
Me, teacher.
Antarctica. Like, of
Correct,
course.
Jack.
Like, that was so funny. But I mean, I guess they do. I was also wondering about that. I'm like, is that true? Like, they don't really know where
do
they are,
they
but I
know?
guess
Yeah.
they do know where they are to a degree. Like, if you're flying between Sydney and
right.
LA, nothing.
There's really nothing
below
there.
that, yeah.
But that's freaky. Like,
Oh.
and you know my thoughts on this raft thing. I have a lot of mixed emotions on it. I think I understand why they want to do it, but I think it's so stupid on so many levels as well for exactly what he's saying. And like, listen to him.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to go into you have no idea where you are. You're going to go into open water with something you handcrafted in like 15 days. And you have no idea where you are, and you have no idea where you're going.
Exactly. With like, let's remember, plane crash bits and bamboo.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's this handcrafted thing with parts that are from a crashed plane and tree parts. And yeah, it's cute, quaint. We built a raft like, what's that show called where they're all stranded on the island and they start living a luxurious life?
Gilligan's Island?
Yeah, it's like Gilligan's Island-esque, but it's like in reality, what do you think is going to happen? You just hope that you pass like a shipping lane and that there's a ship there at that time. Like, no, it's so stupid.
Especially bearing in mind, you haven't seen a ship at all yet. You haven't seen any planes. So clearly this is not a heavily frequented route.
So that brings up a good point because Walt asks Michael, are we going to come when we get rescued? Or are we going to come back for everybody else? And you can kind of see Michael was a little hesitant on that.
Yeah.
He's not convincing at all when he's like, yeah.
But I like that he was kind of upfront
yeah.
with him about it too a little bit because I think the reality, Michael's not wrong. We all know it. There's a reason why, because when taking it back a little bit and Kate and Sawyer fighting about who's going to go on the raft and Kate being like, you're taking Walt and kind of being judgy about that. Michael has to take Walt because Michael's not wrong. They may never get back. Right. It's better than nothing. Trying, and I'm not saying that Michael wouldn't tell the authorities and the authorities wouldn't do everything they could.
Exactly, but he's kind of realizing maybe there's a reason it's been 42 days and no one's come across us yet. Maybe this island is very hard to find for some reason, which would make me not want to leave it
Yes.
on a raft like that.
Like when I think about going out into open water with no kind of navigation on something that small, I know that Charlie's like, that's not a raft, that's a boat. It's still a raft. And like, if you get pulled in by like a tidal wave, like you're gonna die, you're gonna capsize. That thing is gonna fall apart. It's held together by wire that's already been, heavily used. Like you're gonna die.
The raft does lead to maybe my favorite scene of the whole series, though.
Yeah, the raft's a great storyline.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that they have to be more realistic, and sometimes I feel like they're not being realistic. So I did like, and especially because Michael is so quick usually to just like tell Walt to go the fuck away, that I liked that little interaction with them, because I do think Michael took the time to try to explain it the best he could to him. And it's gonna be dangerous, and it's gonna be scary.
I liked Michael and Walt in this episode.
Me too. How do you feel about Michael in this episode, Teresa?
I mean, he was ill, so I mean, he was not conscious for some of it.
Just like he got what he deserved.
No, God, no. No, he's fine. I do think that one of my biggest problems with Michael is just he's so quick to like react to stuff. So it was nice that he didn't yell at Walt today, like in this episode, finally. But he did do that thing that kind of drives me crazy, where like in a conversation with Kate, he's like, well, Sawyer shouldn't be on it. Like, you don't know how to do anything. And then in a conversation with Sawyer, he's like, well, you're not coming on. It's like, okay, like maybe take all of the information you're getting and make a decision, as opposed to just taking whoever's talking to you at the moment as like whatever they're saying is like Bible, and then running with it. Like,
I thought that too, especially at we'll talk about the confrontation scene later, but especially in that moment where he was just like so quick to just pass off the key essentially to entry. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, but that's the problem they always have, right? It's like, and I'm sure it's partially born out of the fact that they really don't know each other, but everyone is so quick to just kind of like throw each other under the bus. And even like that combo between Michael and Sawyer, where Michael's like, do you even know anything about surviving unseen? He's like, do you? And he's like, well, I built it. It's like,
so
like, I get why we all know why you're going, but you don't know what you're doing. So don't say that like everyone else everyone's kind of doing the best they can here. And I like that Michael, when he first talked to Kate, was saying to Kate, like, I made him a promise and I plan on following through with it, because that's.
But so quick to like be like, well, you don't know how to do anything, Sawyer, all because Kate kind of like, she's like, well, I know how to do it. Well, you've had no part of this raft the entire time until now. And after one conversation, Michael's just willing to like, well, you've done this, and this. So you're not on it anymore. It's probably gonna be Kate. It's like, okay, well, I can kind of see why Sawyer would be pissed. Like, totally. A day before you're gonna leave, you're told you're probably not gonna go because of one conversation Kate had.
Agreed.
So can I just say, Jack was in a mood today.
Always is lately.
Because he's the boss.
Yeah, so.
But then I was thinking about
so lonely at the top.
This is only a day after, 2 days after Boone. Yesterday in the show, he was knocked unconscious by drugs. So it stands to reason he's still a bit moody from the last few days.
And shows like this are a little bit tough in the sense that I do, and I know we've kind of talked about it a little bit before, I do think Lost, if made today, would be a much better like 12 or 10 episode season on like a streaming service, where you could just like do a season in like a day if you wanted. Because we're watching them week to week to do the podcast. When they were aired week to week. And so you kind of lose some of that contextualized timeline.
You do, yeah. Because
like in your life, it feels like it's been a week.
Yeah.
But the reality is that it's been a day, like you said.
Exactly.
Since all this happened. Which is why when later Kip, because again, we watched this one together, at one point Kip said out loud that Shannon later on, I can't remember exactly how he said, but essentially looks like shit.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
2 days ago, her brother died.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're right. When you take a week apart, you start to lose that context and that reminders. So Jack, was just pissy today. He was just not feeling anything. And do we want to go into Jack and Locke right now? Because there's some interesting parallels there.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Saeed brings Jack to the hatch. And Jack is just immediately like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Where are you taking me? Why aren't you telling me anything? Well, if you don't tell me right now, I'm going to turn around. I'm like, ugh, get over it.
He's grumpy.
So annoyed.
Sad.
He was grumpy.
Replenishing his blood loss.
I know, but even I'm Jack Lover 92, and I was even like, okay, Jack, you're pissing me off.
You're wearing thin here today, Jack. That was an interesting little scene to begin with, because I know that Saeed essentially forces Locke into telling him about the hatch last episode. But I feel like Locke is very open about it now.
Yeah.
And everyone's reactions were kind of weird to me because I was surprised that Saeed is so against opening it.
I think it makes sense.
Really?
Based on what he said.
Yeah, it makes sense. But did you feel like Saeed would be the person saying all that?
I feel like he would be suspicious, especially considering what he's been through with Rousseau. It does make sense that like he would not want to open something with no door or like with no handle on the outside. And then based on his like history with being the torturer and all that stuff, like, I mean, I think it made sense. Like, I don't think he'd want to, I think he'd be more, what's the word I'm looking for? He wouldn't be like so gung-ho to open something like that. Like it's very intense looking. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't that surprised with Saeed taking that stance based on, again, I was thinking Rousseau too. And like when she said like something about it, they all got sick. It made them sick and killed them. Like he's probably thinking, we don't know what's in here. Mm-hmm. Well, everyone's thinking that, but like maybe it's best just to leave it alone. I did find it interesting how Jack immediately wants to open it and get inside. And it was interesting how, once again, you see similarities with Jack and Locke. They're very similar in so many ways, but just with different, maybe reasons behind it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I actually was not surprised that he wanted to open it.
No, me neither.
Oh, I thought you said you were.
Did I say I was surprised? I can't remember.
I'm dumb. Never mind.
It's okay.
I think why I was surprised about, I was not overly surprised about Jack, but I was surprised about Saeed. And I think it's because I agree with everything he said about why it's a risk and like the questions he would have and stuff like that. And Saeed is obviously always the one thinking like that. Mm-hmm. But he also strikes me as the kind of person who would want to get like in front of all that. Mm. So I feel like he'd want to know what was in it. And he'd want to be like investigating and being like, we need to figure this out so it doesn't become a problem later. Right?
Yeah, he's very proactive in that sense. So that would make sense.
But I think this is so out of the realm of like what he would be able to like know about. Because like when I'm thinking back to when he was talking to Issam and his friends, and he was like very cautious because he knew like it would be bugged. Like I think that if he was more knowledgeable about what it could be, I think then he would want to open it. But I think because it's so, he's like, this woman had a cable, this woman tied me up. She said there's other people. She said it killed them all. There's something called a Black Rock. Like, I think because he knows so much about the island that nobody else knows, especially the woman who's lived there for 16 years. I think that's why he's more like, no, man, this ain't it.
I wish we could have seen Locke showing Saeed for the first time without Jack.
Yes.
Because I think that would have been a good introduction to Saeed's reasoning.
Mm-hmm, like a temperature check.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we just kind of, unfortunately, only get to see like when he brings Jack.
Again, we get some good wise moments out of Locke this episode, which I always like, and him. And that's why I'm like kind of confused about this whole thing, because Locke didn't want to show him, and now I feel like he's being pretty open with him about everything, about how long he's been doing it. But also, I guess he can't really hide he's been doing it a long time if it's been. And that's what, it's always hard to tell. Like Locke and Kate are both kind of similar in that way. The information you're getting from either of them at any given moment in time, I'm always dubious of, because I'm like, are you telling this to be truthful, or are you telling this because you're either trying to manipulate something or because you've been caught in something and you're just giving like the bare minimum what you have to get out of a situation? I get the same vibe for different reasons from both Kate and Locke. Yeah,
where you feel like there's a reason they're giving that specific information. Yes. You just don't know what the reason is. And so you're questioning it all the time.
But I did like that Locke kind of pushed back a little bit on Jack about some of the like, you know,
you've been working on this for 3 weeks and you didn't tell me.
And I'm like, yeah, well, when do I report to you? Yeah. And then he kind of calls him out, be like, well, how long until you told people about the guns that you were keeping secret, right?
100%.
Like, don't be a hypocrite, Jack.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Jack is like, he's a lot of things. He's a lot of good things. He's very complicated. He's clearly a very caring, capable man. but he is kind of a hypocrite, right? He wants to be in everyone's business. He wants wants to know everything that's going on, but he is very, very limiting in the amount of information he's willing to give out.
Exactly. He wants to know everything, but still wants to gatekeep what he lets other people know. Right? It's got to be a two-way street.
Exactly.
So
that was interesting. But a good little scene, and now we know that Jack knows about the hatch as well. And we're these last couple episodes, there's gonna be a lot happening.
setting that stage. We got 3 episodes after this.
Yes.
And they're all the finale.
Part 1, part 2, part 3. Yowza.
And then it's around this time too that Michael gets poisoned.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And it's so funny to me, like, why is everyone always trying to kill each other on this island?
I know.
Just
Why is pain and hurt the first choice everyone makes?
has anyone decided ever trying to use their words?
Yeah, but when they use their words, they're so quick to turn on each other
fight anyway.
Maybe Sun could have walked up to Jin and been like, hey, maybe don't go. It's just kind of crazy to me. I just
If you don't tell me you're not going, I'm going to poison you.
So that leads to Michael being clearly horribly ill, and then everyone yelling at everyone, accusing everyone of everything. Michael thinks it's Sawyer. And just the sheer amount of times on this island that people just take, there's absolutely no evidence to suggest it was Sawyer.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't even make sense. I wish Locke was there, because Locke would be like, why would he poison you
When he wants
when
off.
he wants to go with you?
Exactly. I know.
The logic, it's just whoever they hate in that moment.
Exactly.
It was them.
That's the right, exactly it. Whoever they hate in that moment is who gets the blame.
Yeah.
And again, though, it leads to some comical moments, because when Hurley, Locke, and it is Locke, right? Yeah. Hurley, Locke,
Jack.
and Jack are having that conversation, and Hurley just is letting loose on the secrets, and then it's just how am I supposed to keep all the secrets straight?
Yeah,
He
I
says
love
my
that.
favorite line ever, which is, Steve didn't even know about the polar bear. Because have you guys wondered that? Have you watched this and been like, is it only the 11 main characters who know what's going on? Does Arts know what's going on?
Exactly.
So when Hurley said that, I was like, okay, yes. No, he probably didn't.
Can you just imagine Hurley and a couple others are on the beach chatting, and they say, I hope that polar bear doesn't show up, and Steve is like, wait, what? Polar bear?
What did they do with the polar bear that they shot?
Oh, they probably just left it there.
Yeah.
But then someone would have run in. You know what I mean? They're just very reckless people on this island. They shot a bear, and then they left it there. They didn't tell anyone.
They should have told Locke he could have made a fur out of it or something.
a blanket.
You can eat polar bear meat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
It's not probably.
it's probably not stored properly at this rate.
Well, if they did it right away after they killed him.
I don't know. They'd have to fish out all the bullets.
I don't know, but at this point, I think that a food source is a food source.
Yeah, but I think that was pretty early on, so I don't think
They
it
were
was.
we're going home in 2 days.
Exactly.
They were just ripping through
43
whatever
days
food they
later.
had. The logic is just imagine being Steve walking through the jungle and you happen upon the polar bear. You'd be like,
Running back and being like, guys, holy shit, look what I just saw. What? The dead polar bear. Yeah, we know. We killed it.
what? Sawyer shot it a few times. Don't you remember?
And Steve's like, no one ever tells me anything. I miss Scott.
Yeah.
And then now we know that it was Scott. We, as you guys know, we're always trying to figure out, unless this was pre-Steve's death. Just
Wait,
kidding.
what?
No, we'll just stick
Scott's
with it.
dead. Steve doesn't know about the polar bear. Hurley's
Hurley's
no longer the
just
gatekeeper of all secrets.
He's getting annoyed.
But that's the thing. Too many secrets. Everybody's keeping secrets left and right. And of course, Hurley, sweet Hurley says, maybe it was Kate. Because,
Yeah. Oh, right. That's where we were headed here.
maybe it's Kate because
Yeah.
she's,
The fugitive thing. And Locke finds out then.
yeah. And then he's like, he didn't know. And he's like, no, you did not know.
I was a little disappointed in Hurley in that moment because I feel like Hurley should have known that no one would probably know that. But also, and then, again, Locke's turning back, being like, you didn't think, people should know. And then Jack's like, oh,
Discretion.
discretion. Or, it's Like the amount of lies and half truths that exist on this island between
So
these
many.
people.
Yeah.
But then
It's
again,
insane.
why would he think that Locke wouldn't know? You know what I mean? Like Locke's involved in all of
That's
this.
true.
I would have assumed that Locke, if I was Hurley, I'd probably assume that like the main people he's been hanging out with and the other guy who's essentially like a leader-ish on the island would know that that Kate was the fugitive. I would probably assume.
Well, everyone's going to find out by the end of this episode.
And then everybody's going to walk away dramatically as they always do.
Yeah.
But it's tough because I do think Jack does try to come to these things with an open mind in a leadership type role, but everyone is hurling accusations all the time. And so I do think he was trying to be open-minded. And I think when Hurley suggested that it could be Kate, obviously he doesn't want to believe that it can be Kate, but I think he knows that it is a possibility.
Yeah.
And so he does go to kind of confront her about it, right? And she's so mad. Like she's so offended that he would think that she could do this, right? And that kind of annoyed me too. It'll be my biggest Kate, well, until we get to the end, my biggest Kate criticism of the episode, which I think I'm being pretty good at for a Kate-centric episode. And I want to talk about her flashbacks kind of all at once at the end maybe, but Kate is so offended.
Yeah.
But Jack does not know her that well. You guys, and I totally understand. Well, I can't understand. I can empathize with the idea that when you are in this type of situation, you bond to people probably very, very quickly because you have to. And I know Jack and her share like a bond and there's feelings there, but they don't know each other. So that part of it pisses me off when she gets so offended. And then the other part is that she's also given him a lot of actual objective reasons.
Yeah.
So not only just take out the first part, which is you don't really know each other,
Yeah.
but what he does know is objectively terrifying.
Yeah.
Like,
She killed someone.
like she has given him no real
Reason.
answers.
Yeah. And she didn't even answer him here. She
No.
just walks away. Not without answering.
We find out later that the reason she does that is because she did play a role in this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And she clearly doesn't want to have to lie to him. Yeah. And that's very noble. But Kate, stop putting yourself in these situations. Yeah. Okay?
Oh, boy.
But also,
Where
we
do we go?
remember that in the previous episode, she drugged him.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
so
Right.
true.
Yeah. She's a sociopath.
Jack should have said,
She's
remember yesterday when you drugged me without my knowledge?
Yeah, I do think you're capable.
Exactly.
Because guess what? You've done it.
Literally,
Yes,
24
that's
hours.
Literally yesterday.
Yeah, he's a straight up sociopath.
But that's the thing, right? Like, and I get why she's offended because she's like, oh, like, I thought we were supposed to be better than that. But also, like, you've done all the things to, like, convince him that it probably was you. Hashtag drugged him yesterday.
Hashtag Kate life.
Hashtag Kate life. Speaking of Kate's life, those flashbacks.
Ooh, what a doozy.
It's actually very difficult. These are tough moments. So she clearly gets a letter. So funny story. Who's that letter from? That letter clearly tells her that her mom is dying. And someone has sent money in that letter as well. And I thought at first that it was Tom.
Right.
But when she meets with Tom, he seems surprised to see her. So who is keeping her updated on her life? Do you remember?
No,
I don't actually.
I don't know if it's funny because that group actually just asked that question.
Really?
Yeah. And
Really?
yeah. Like very recently. And was like, I think it's so-and-so. And then I was like, I completely forgot about so-and-so. And then I was like, oh, it might be so-and-so.
Oh, so-and-so.
Yeah, it might be, it might be so-and-so.
So-and-so.
Yeah.
But is so-and-so her or
No.
Was
Are you trying to find who so-and-so is?
Yeah, but
Just look up.
But that's do you think wrote Kate this letter? I presume that it was so this leads me to believe we never find out. We see Kate Austen go into a motel lobby where she retrieves a letter that is addressed to her alias Joan Hart. We then see Kate crying in tears as she's reading the anonymous letter inside of her car. With Kate being all emotional, it's probably safe to assume that the letter told her about her mother's impending health situation in the hospital. My question for you is, who do you think wrote Kate this letter? I personally believe that it was Kate.
what are other people saying?
Other people say I think most logical person. I also vote for And someone said the same thing. Tom was clearly surprised to see her in the backseat of his car. And another person said, I originally thought it was Tom, but in this episode, when Kate turns up in his car, he's surprised to see her. So I also thought it was Tom when she first got into the car, but he is very...
I mean, even if you wrote a letter, I'd still be surprised if someone was in the backseat of my car.
Yeah, me too.
Unknowns to me.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. Also, how'd you get in there?
Yeah.
Yes, sketch bag.
Anyway, all this to say, that's one of the questions I had, because the person's also sending her money, clearly, because she has a lot of money in the thing. So
There's a thick envelope.
I just thought that was interesting, because clearly someone is helping her still from her life. And then she decides she's going to risk whatever to go see her mom. We have no context. The flashbacks are so interesting in so many ways. One of them to me is that there's no rhyme or reason as to when the timeline is for any of this. Is this before or after the bank robbery? Like, it's clearly before her going to Australia, because she's clearly uncomfortable being, because like I said before, like, this is clearly a big thing. Is this why the marshal's after her? She's clearly unhappy being at the hospital when she sees guards even now.
Well, yeah.
So something has already happened here.
Exactly. Yeah. She's on the run. So
she's on the run.
We're probably thinking it's because of the bank robbery.
Right.
At this point.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. I can understand the desire, if she thinks her mom is dying, to go and risk this.
She's on the run and she's hiding, essentially. So we don't know when or why or how.
Yeah. And so she's on the run, and she brings Tom into this, and it's very clear even from the beginning that they have some sort of intense history. It's sad to me that he clearly has a life and a family, and Kate knows he has a life and a family, and she has decided that despite all of this, she's going to drag him into her entirely twisted world. And that's because she's a fucking bitch.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Like, here we go.
But I get it, because I can imagine, and you're going to see more that clearly from this episode alone, you can see that her relationship with her mother is strained. I think at this point, it could still maybe be like, is she just out of it? Is she whatever? But there's something going on with her and her mom. So clearly this was very, very important to her. And so I can see why, all joking aside about her being awful for dragging him into it, I can see why the need to do that would be very strong for her.
See, like, and that moment with her mom was kind of scary when, like, she starts calling out for help. I was not expecting that. And I actually forgot about that.
Same.
Rewatching it, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. She doesn't even want her to be there. But no, with Tom, and she even makes a comment about how his son is beautiful and where's your wife? I was just so disappointed in Kate in this episode.
But that's always what I say, and always why I get like, why everyone hates me and thinks that I'm mean to Kate, and we all on the negative comments about how I hate Kate, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is that was so selfish.
It was incredibly
She's very selfish.
Yeah.
He has a family. What you're asking him to do, take out all the like danger or whatever, probably could get him in trouble at work. And you know, you're risking all this, then you go with him to do the time capsule. I get that it's emotional. I get that there's clearly a very long history between you guys. You know he's married.
Yeah.
You know you're asking him to do stuff and put his like career on the line and possibly his life, and you have no problem doing so.
No problem. You know, I don't remember if she initiated the kiss or he did, or if it was mutual. Even still, she just like doesn't give a shit.
No.
She's like, this is what I want right now, and this is what I'm going to get.
Yeah. I think, honestly, my biggest problem with her in this episode was insisting that they go to the time capsule, because that whole thing, I feel like if they hadn't gone, he wouldn't feel so inclined to be like, no, I'm going to stay with you.
Yeah.
Like,
because
then it was just such a like kick in the face with like the nostalgia and how they were going to get married and have 9 kids. And, you know, even then in their like tape or whatever, he's like, we're gonna get married, we're gonna have 9 kids. And she's like, or we can just like run. And he's like, you always want to run. And obviously it alludes to she's running from something terrible, which is whatever. But like, even then he's like, I want to build a family with you. And she's like, I want to run. And here he's like, just stay and we can figure it out. And she's like, no, we need to run. He's like, well, then I'm going to stay with you. And it's just kind of like, if she hadn't done that, I feel like he would be more inclined to be like, okay, you can take my car and go.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah,
because it was that
100%.
emotional kind of manipulation of, and it's sad because clearly she's always had like the Born to Run the title tells it everything you need to know. Kate, that is what she is. She's always going to run. And it's interesting because, again, if you don't know her history, I think you probably think something happened. She's been on the run since then. But in that little time capsule you see with them being around 12, there's something going on in her life then. And she says to him, you know why?
Yeah.
So something already big and bad is happening in her life. She doesn't want to be there. She wants to escape. And that feeling of needing to escape has followed her throughout the rest of her life.
Yeah.
The issue I have, and I've always said, that's fine to a degree. I also know that there's probably people out there who are like, how could you hate her so much knowing what it is that she's running from? I have a lot of sympathy for so much of what Kate does, except when she continually puts other people at risk to get away.
Yeah.
If she cared about Tom, she pulled that car over and surrendered to the police.
Yep.
If she cared about that man in Australia, she would have pulled the car over or let him pull the car over instead of driving them off the side of a ravine. Okay? That's where it's wrong. Did she do something bad? Sure. Do lots of people do things that are bad? Sure. I would not, have her executed for that. I'm just saying it's this continual fact. And even after the most heartbreaking scene is when they're running and then he is dead. And she still
runs
and leaves him there to die.
Yep.
This person who she just had this amazing emotional reconnection with, who went out of his way to help her, who stood by her, and she could run away so easily. And that's fucked up.
It's very fucked up. She literally came into this guy's life and within 24 hours got him killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's awful. And I agree. No one can defend that.
No.
Because that has nothing to do with what happened to her. Mm-hmm. She's making conscious decisions to leave these people in the mess that she's brought them into.
Agreed.
He didn't seek her out.
No. And it's hard because seeing these things and seeing that there's all these people like Jack and Sawyer who are starting to care for her online son, Claire, that, I watch that and I look at how many people have been hurt by her in the past and you just worry, like,
who's next?
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
It's fine.
It sounds like she's going to cry.
No, I'm good. So that's really the climax of the episode in terms of the flashbacks is this, and it escalated so quickly and it ended so poorly, all for her to kind of try to say goodbye to her mom, which is noble. And I can understand why she wanted to do that. But as per usual, her own selfish desire, because by the way, it didn't really look like her mom was all that happy to see her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Her mom clearly wasn't like, oh, I'm so glad you're here.
She was like, help
Me, somebody.
So her own selfish desire to do whatever it is she feels she needs to do has ended in yet another person being harmed. And in this case, it's very clear he's dead.
So good point, because, well, okay, not good point, but it reminds me then, earlier we were saying, when does this take place? So now we realize she's not necessarily on the run at the beginning of this episode from the bank robbery. Because in the bank robbery, she's trying to get that plane.
Right.
So this has happened before the bank robbery.
Right.
So she's already on the run from something before the bank robbery.
Good catch.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Same.
That's what you wanted in that safety deposit box.
Yeah.
I wonder how that ended up in the safety deposit
Yeah,
box.
I wonder.
Maybe his wife saved it for...
Maybe, yeah, the kid.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I need it.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, that's even freaking worse.
That's so awful.
I'm sorry. When you
Okay.
said the kid,
No.
I was like, Jesus.
I know.
That's a great catch because that's exactly... Because I was about to also say, how did she end up with that plane again if she left it in the car?
I know. I was expecting her to grab it, and then I was like, "Oh no, that's right. She has to go get it from the safety deposit box,
So...
and essentially steal it from someone who it was intended for." Probably the guy's son.
His 22-month-old son, Connor. Yeah, the beautiful baby. The best part about this show
It's
is
just like, fuck you,
I
kid.
don't even have to do anything, and just more and more shit about this woman comes out.
Oh, man.
Anyway, I
lot
can't
of
wait for the
revelations.
hate that's coming
5
down the
minutes.
pipeline for this about how not selfish she is. For okay, so that you're right. That's great context. So we have this has happened. And then at some point the bank robbery happens, and then at some point she's in Australia, and all that happens. So what,
we know.
we do know.
No, sorry. I was going to say, we know so far. I don't know what she would be charged with, like maybe 2nd-degree murder for Tom's death, because manslaughter, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Probably 2nd-degree or attempted murder against that cop who she rammed the car into.
That one for sure would be problematic.
And then the bank robbery where she robs bank and then she ends up shooting a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So
also quite problematic.
on top of all that, there's something else that she's on the run from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, the cop that stops her, I think
her.
is the one who killed Tom.
Correct.
But then you have to think whatever she did was bad enough that this guy went to shoot at her, which means she's dangerous.
Well, I
don't think they know who she is.
No,
at that
I would
point.
think if
No, because when she was walking, she said, my mom is just whatever. And then that's when the guy grabbed her and was like, wait.
I still think that was more just because she's clearly screaming. I'm not sure they know
Yeah.
who she is. I don't know anything about U.S. law enforcement, but what I do know
That guy
is
seems
that
scared.
when someone is charging your vehicle,
I think you Unload.
are. I mean, I don't know what their rules are, but I can see that like that might be allowed to some degree to try to.
Well, for sure.
And I think that's all they were doing. I
Yeah.
think he was just trying to.
He looked afraid. I
I
don't
think he
know.
was just
the
trying to
car was
stop the
bearing down on
vehicle,
him.
right?
No, but even when he had like pulled out, when he had cut it,
Yeah.
he's like, stop. He looked afraid, which is why I thought maybe.
I don't think they think of her as like some Jason Bourne type character.
You never know.
Maybe, but
We don't know.
I think it was more like they just hear this woman calling
Screaming.
for help, and this other woman is sort of like scurrying out, and it looks very suspicious.
Why did she scurry? Just walk away. Just be, you know what I mean? For someone who's so used to being on the run,
Well,
the worst thing you can do is be sketchy about it. Just meld back in.
she probably was just out of her realm because of
But
what she's
that's
going
the
through with her
problem I'm
mom.
always going to have with her, and this is such a pivotal example of that, is that how she acts when she's cornered,
Yeah.
right? Like, you want to run, you want to hide, you want to whatever, but she constantly, like, the bank robbery, like, even that when she's trying to, like, she shoots a bunch of people, like,
She shoots a bunch of people and says, "You said no one would get hurt."
I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss with Kate Austin.
So, okay, good. You just made me think of something. You're right. When she's cornered, she acts horribly.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's so interesting because on Island, she confronts Sawyer being
Mm-hmm.
like, you're not going to apologize to me? And he says, what can I say? You had me cornered.
Yeah.
You said you were going to do this and I believed you.
Yeah.
And then so now she's shocked that someone would act like that when she's cornered them, basically threatened him.
Interesting.
I love that he said that to
Yeah,
her
same.
because he's like, you said you were going to take my spot.
Yeah,
So what's he supposed to do? Just let that happen? Like,
exactly.
no. But what leads to that is that confrontation, which is just
We need to
like,
talk about that.
these people need some counseling.
They are fucked up.
They need Locke to come back and be like, guys,
No, Locke is not.
let's use
They
our
need,
logic skills.
I don't know which one of them can do it. Rose, I think, needs to start like a little fucking counseling service on the side.
Rose. That's
Okay,
a good
That
because
is-
these
it
people need
needs
some
to be Rose.
serious help.
Where's
Their
Rose?
conflict management is horrific.
non-existent.
Okay, they have the worst conflict management skills of all time.
Oh man, it's
Like-
awful.
It's really bad.
Like even okay, to take it turn to the thing. I found it difficult to watch them all confront her,
It was very
right?
uncomfortable.
And
was
like,
mean.
I don't like her.
Yeah.
It was mean. It was unnecessary. She's still a human being and you don't know her. And that's what it just pisses me off about this whole thing is you guys don't know each other enough to start throwing these accusations around.
But that's probably why they are, though. Because if you don't know someone, you don't know what they're capable of. You don't know who they are. So you would probably feel a bit more emboldened to start throwing these accusations around. And especially someone like Sawyer, who is a dick, at the best of times.
Yeah.
And he's going to take this opportunity to put her in her place, as he would probably think, and like turn the tables from him being the prime suspect to her being the prime suspect. And that's how he can do it, by making everybody sort of against Kate instead of him. But it was hard to watch though, because everybody just looks at her with this sort of like disgust and
The dramatic walk away.
the dramatic all the time.
They always just
that
leave
dramatic walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I think the part that's sad is like I just don't think anyone deserves to feel that lonely
No.
and that alone.
Not even Kate?
Not even Kate.
Wow.
Like I don't like that she's selfish. I still think that she has, and this is the problem, is I also believe people should be treated according to how they're acting. And at the end of the day, Kate has been a helpful person on the island. She contributes. She hasn't done anything really bad to any of them. So although I think everyone should be weary of her and a little bit cautious, as they should everyone, I also think it's really rude to just so quickly turn their back on her without really knowing the whole story. And that's a problem I think they all have.
They all do that. It's terrible. They're so quick to just turn on each other. But
So-
maybe that's because they really don't know each other that well. And so their loyalties are thin.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the problem is like, yeah, they don't know each other that well, but it's been a month and a half where the only people you can interact with is each other. So like that already speeds up your relationship with people. So I think the part that's like kind of unfortunate is that because they all rely so heavily on like these ridiculous secrets. I'm not saying that hers is ridiculous, because that is, if it were me, I wouldn't want anyone to know. Like I would want to try to start over, but then I would face the music when we, cross our fingers, got, saved or whatever. But like, because everyone has so many secrets and only little pockets of people know. And then when you piss them off, they're obviously going to use it because everybody has the same goal. They want to get off. They want to be saved. And then for it to be Sawyer too, that you're throwing under the bus after you've had, these great moments with him and, you guys have this special bond. It's just kind of like, did you really see this going any other way?
Like, of course he's going to feel like backstabbed.
Yeah. Like it was just such a weird, like.
And that sucked because I feel like he's her best ally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, yeah, Jack cares about her and she clearly cares about Jack, and her and son have a friendship, and she helped deliver Claire's baby, and she has these like little bonds with people. But, humans are very particular creatures. And at the end of the day, like we want to be loved, but we also want to be understood. And there's no one on that island, kind of like what you're saying, that will understand Kate the same way.
Okay. So a question, would
Okay.
you say selfishness is the trait that you hate the most in general
In life?
in life?
Yeah, I hate selfish people.
Okay. Teresa, what's yours?
The trait that I hate the most?
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I've never really thought about it.
What about you?
Smugness.
Oh,
Can't stand smugness.
that tracks.
Wait, what's mine then? Can you just tell me what mine is?
Yeah, you're tricky.
Yeah, you are tricky. You are tricky.
Is it because I don't care about most things?
Yeah.
No, I think I think you don't like when people are disingenuous.
I was gonna say like phoniness.
Yeah.
You don't like phoniness.
Yeah, I think it drives you nuts when people aren't real. Yeah.
Now, does that track with who we hate most on the island?
No, but that's for a different reason.
Oh yeah, that's my own.
But
like-
I couldn't even point out a character trait in Michael that
no, but he's
deserves
right.
the ire.
No, but he's right.
Exactly.
No, but he's right. That's a whole different.
Because he
reason.
does not actually deserve.
No, that's but yeah.
No, that's because of other
No,
issues.
I know, but even like your smug, like who do you hate on the island?
But that's the thing. I don't really hate anybody on the island.
Well, none of them are all that smug,
No, exactly.
right?
but there's one person.
You know
who's
who I
selfish.
hate?
Who?
Who made me hate smugness, and it's just sort of continued in life, in real life? Billy from Melrose Place. He taught me what smugness was.
That's
and
I
fair.
don't even know who
That's
that
fair.
I never let it go. Never.
Yeah. I hate it too, and I'm just going to let you know that if you hate it, may I suggest never joining my career path.
Yeah, that's a given.
I don't hate any.
Okay,
All right.
we have to move. We got to finish this
Yeah.
up because we got to get to the rankings. But before we do, there's just two other things I think we have to touch on.
Let's do it.
Have to.
Walt and Locke.
Oh.
And Locke touching Walt's arm and Walt telling him not to open it. What's this about?
He is fulfilling what Brian said. He's a creepy kid.
See,
That was terrifying.
this is tough. It was creepy, but it's also one of those things where it's like, I don't know what to make of it. I really don't.
No. But it's kind of, and the show does this sometimes. It's like there's so much going on and
Yeah.
so many characters and so many backstories that just when something's kind of come out of my mind,
Yeah.
like I had just forgotten about all that stuff with
Brian.
Yeah.
and the bird and the whatever. And just in time to be like, what the fuck, Walt?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then he does it a second time with Michael at the end. So he's telling Locke, don't open it. And then he's telling Michael at the end, like, we have to go.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
have to go.
I don't, yeah.
So
I don't know.
Is he sensing something? Is he whatever? I don't know, but it's fucking creepy and we had to touch upon it.
It is creepy, especially because you know how Locke's always the one who's like prophesizing. He's like, it's gonna rain in 2 seconds. And then he like touches Walt's arm and then he's like, don't open it. What do you mean?
It even freaked Locke out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Locke's usually pretty like,
Even killed.
yeah, except for the whole plane thing
Well, yeah.
when he was
But no, like,
completely insane.
agreed. Like, it freaked Locke out, which is out of character. And so, like, what the hell was it?
And then for Walt to go to Michael, confess that he didn't want to leave, but now he, like, they have to, is really unsettling.
It's
Agreed.
perfect word. It's unsettling.
It's unsettling.
Yeah.
That's great. Because everything about him is unsettling to me at this point. I'm not going to lie.
Brian was right.
So, what's the second thing? Because I don't know what else to say about that because I don't know what to make of it.
I don't know either.
Just made me uncomfortable.
And then the final thing is the little, like, that we see that Sun was the one who poisoned.
Jin. I mean, Michael.
That was very
meant
sad.
to be Jin.
And then on top of that, we find out that Kate did play a role in it. What exactly, like, what did you make of that?
Well, it was Kate's idea, she said. So, like, clearly, Sun was talking to Kate, saying how much she didn't want Jin to go. And Kate was like, why don't you poison him or something? Like, what?
And so again, to me, what that was Kate hedging her bets.
To get on the boat.
So, but she could justify. So she's going to try to get Sawyer off there the way that she knows how to with Sawyer. Okay.
She's trying to get Jin off.
And then
that's
she's
so
trying to get
gross.
Jin off
I didn't even think of
by
that.
manipulating Sun
Fuck.
into
That's
thinking
disgusting.
Sun's doing it to save Jin.
You know what? My ranking's got to change. It wasn't Sun's fault. It wasn't Sun's fault. She was
No,
manipulated.
she was
was
manipulated.
played.
Yeah,
She
she was
was
played,
played.
because she
Here.
that's how honestly that was my take on it, that it was her hedging her bets of, okay, I don't know if I can actually convince them that Sawyer shouldn't go on it, so my other
here's my
tact
plan
is,
B.
oh, Sun's
Yeah.
really upset that Jin's gonna go, well, I could just suggest to her,
Shit. How would she say that to her, though?
that's a convoy I wish we could have seen.
I know. To convince Sun to. Oh, boy.
Right?
Yeah, totally. That was bizarre. And Jack finds out, and again, Kate kind of says, like, Jack's good at keeping secrets, and which we all know, some secrets anyway. And he's not going to tell. He kind of has that really nice conversation with Sun that it's like, you know, he's going to go. So
Yeah.
say goodbye, essentially. Don't leave it unfulfilled or said. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
So that's a heavy freaking episode, and
tell
that
ya.
was the last thing I really did want to touch upon is that I truly feel like
Yeah.
that was Kate, because Kate knows how to manipulate people into thinking she's supporting them and helping them and giving them good ideas for them, and really it's
You need to
because
stop,
she's done.
because I'm going to keep just whipping points off.
Well, on that
Okay,
note,
so let's hear him.
let's hear him.
Michael's still at the bottom. Negative 1,345. Shannon, negative 805. Kate, negative 405. Then our top 10, Walt, 80. Jin, 405. Sawyer, 505. Syed, 510. Claire, 630. Locke, 795. Charlie, 835. Jack, 1,000. Sun, 1020. And our new number one ranking, Hurley, with 1075.
Wow, good for Hurley.
Someone needed to say it. There
Yeah.
are too many freaking secrets. And he was right. Like, when he said that, I was like, yes, someone finally needs to say it to everybody, because this is getting out of control.
Yeah. Hurley being the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Agreed. Great.
Let's give our ratings.
Well, I can start.
Yeah.
Apparently, I do not agree with IMDb. I think it's more like an 8.5. Just because I don't love Kate doesn't mean I don't like, and I think this is something that needs to be said to the fandom here. Just because I do not like Kate does not mean I do not like Kate storylines or Kate-centric episodes. I think this shows us lots more about her. I don't think that's for the better, but I think for storyline, it's good. I think the raft stuff's interesting, and I think we are on the precipice of some really important things that are going to happen. And I think this episode was a brilliant way to kind of bridge what happened with Boone and that stuff into what we're going to see in the finale. So I think it was a good one. And I think that it's very clear that the showrunners had an idea for this season and that they're executing it pretty well.
I'm going to agree with what I thought IMDb was going to say, which was 7.8.
No, they give it 8.
I know, but I thought it was going to be 7.8.
Sorry.
I didn't love this episode. I thought it was, I felt really draggy. I felt like it was going on and on and on and on. And it just like is a lot in one episode. And I don't think that it really fit that well together. Yeah, just not my favorite.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to go with... I think for me, it's going to be a 7.5. Like it's a little bit lower. And it was a build-up episode for me. It was building up towards the finale moments, and you could just feel it was like building things up. Mm-hmm. And I'm too anxious to get those final moments underway. So I was just wanting it to be done, mm-hmm. so we could get on with the raft stuff, mm-hmm. and the hatch stuff, right? So yeah, that's the raking. So
yeah, it's just okay.
Well, thank you guys for listening as per usual. We love sitting here and talking about Lost with you all. Please like, follow, subscribe anywhere you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple, etc. We are heading into the final episodes of season 1, and then we're going to be taking a little bit of a break, and we're going to come back with season 2, and we're going to have a few more surprises for that. So like always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, please reach out to us on all of our social media. Let's Get Lost.pod on Instagram and Facebook. We love hearing from you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.